everybody out there. Thank you for tuning in. I see some people are already coming into the room. Thank you so much for being here, guys, and tuning in to today's Relationship Coaching Live, which I am so excited. I'm always excited for my guests because I love my guests. I never book anybody I don't like. So I love this lady. I've known her for a very long time. She's a fellow comedian. And I am going to just tell you a few credits. She has been on NBC, Comedy Central, Hulu, Netflix, and VH1. She has 3 comedy specials. If These Lips Could Talk, Dick Jokes, and Other Assorted Love Songs, and Limeade. So but it just goes on and on and on. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to bring up my dear friend and fellow comedian, Lahna Turner. Hi, Lahna.
Hello, Grace. Hello,
How
everyone.
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. You look great with that little hat. I'm telling you, you can totally pull it off.
That's because I didn't have time to do my hair.
Well, same. I'm wearing like an extension clip, see, like right there. And it kind of makes my forehead look big, but I don't care. It's kind of like an old,
beautiful.
It's like an old Kim Kardashian look, with the big, but that's okay.
I would never know that it was a pin on, whatever they're called.
They're really great. And I order another one because I'm like totally addicted to them because you don't have to do anything to your hair. You just clip it on. Nobody can tell. But yeah, that's my hair secret, but don't tell anyone. So except the 200 people are here. No, I wish 200 people were here, but we have a lot of people trickling in. I'm so happy from Facebook, YouTube, and X, and more people are going to come in as we continue the conversation. So today we're going to talk about grief and resilience. And people might ask themselves, like, why are you bringing a comedian to talk about that? Right? Hi, Stacy. How are you? So good to see you, honey. Happy belated birthday. She's joining us from Facebook. So cool. So tell us a little bit about why you're here to talk about grief and resilience. Tell us the story.
Oh my goodness, where do you start? Grace.
I know. Where do I start?
Resilience.
Grief. Let's talk about grief first. Like, why?
Well, I had to grieve the loss of my marriage before my husband even died. So I was in a very unusual relationship. I don't blame people for judging my relationship. My husband was the morbidly obese comedian Ralphie May. And I say morbidly obese because he was very, very overweight. When I met him, he was 800 pounds. And reason why I don't judge people for judging me in it is because why would somebody end up with an 800-pound man? Like, surely he's got money, surely he had fame, surely he had success. When we met, he didn't have any of those things. And I just fell in love. I loved him. Right. He was a really special person. He was funny, he was brilliant, and he made me laugh so hard. And I just fell in love with him. I fell in love with him over long distance. A lot of it formed over phone calls. He was and I at the time was like, you know what, me not being with him made me feel somehow like, I didn't want to feel shallow. I didn't, and I believed I had just come back from 10 months of traveling abroad, and I'd spent 4 months in India and Nepal. And in India, I saw people starving, and it really recreated my sense of what is beauty. And in fact, a lot of the actors and actresses, I'd say actresses on the Indian movies were a little heavier than the American ones because it was actually more desirable to be heavy there because everyone's so thin. And so I came back and met Ralphie, and it was just like, he's so beautiful. And I fell in love. But what I wasn't paying attention to at that time was that the exterior, it does expose a lot of the interior. And Ralphie was an addict. I didn't understand food addiction, and we were together for 17 years. The last 7 years of our relationship, he was in and out of rehabs and hospitals 11 times in 7 years. So that's every 6 months until he filed for divorce, and then we split up. And I was heartbroken, and I was super sad to lose somebody through a divorce, but we didn't end up getting divorced. And about a year and maybe a year and a half later, he died. So then I grieved him in a different way. So that's the story. Not very funny.
No, definitely. We're not here for the funny. We're here for the grief and resilience. So that's
Yeah,
what we're here for. Hello there, my dear friend. Good afternoon. How are you doing today? I'm doing great. How about you, Lana? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great today. Thank you. There's the resilience. Like I think
Yes.
everything is part of your story, and so I'm doing well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me, because the grief journey is, I call it the roller coaster of sadness, anger, it's like in the beginning, it's sadness and anger and all of that. So, what were your feelings in the beginning when you lost your husband? That as far as like sadness, anger, what were you feeling? What were your thoughts?
I guess the sad this part is the grief at his hearing about his death, right? Um, it's survival mode, honestly. Like my kids were my main focus because they were very young and they just lost their father. But they'd already lost their father because he
Mm.
wasn't there for them at all. The last,
Really?
yeah, it was very sad.
Wow.
And I know you're not supposed to criticize someone, but he was addicted
Mhm.
and he was very angry and he'd the year prior he'd done a lot of financial damage.
Mm.
So I didn't have any finance when he had passed away, 0. Like, I didn't even have for 3 weeks, I didn't even have finance to buy groceries. Um,
Wow, that is insane. How did you like deal with all that?
well, it was the so the divorce was the worst part of everything, not worse than the death, but the divorce
Yeah.
was pretty hard on us because he was, um, he was angry and he'd emptied my bank accounts and played a financial bullying role during that time. And
Wow.
so, yeah, I had maxed out my credit cards, and the last thing that I had to put on the credit card was that literally maxed it out. I believe it was like I had like $1,200 something, 1,200 something dollars left on my credit card, and the his cremation like hit that number just slightly under that number, leaving me with maybe like
Yes.
$100 of credit left on the card. So like, yeah,
That's crazy. That's
yeah.
crazy. And the people, think that you married him for the money and the fame is insane. If they hear this part of the story.
Well, he didn't have money when we were broke for the first
Yeah,
7 years of our life. In fact, this house that I'm sitting in right now, I actually bought the house
you did.
before we were married. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't afford the monthly payments. He was by that point, he was making decent money on the road. He just
Mhm.
last comic standing and was doing very well, but he didn't have any down payment. Whereas I came from an environment that I had enough money to put the down payment. So I was able to purchase the house and then he was able to help. I still helped make the payments,
Yeah,
but he was, yeah. So that's how, I mean, we were a partnership. We
right.
built together and I really loved him very much so.
Well, I
So,
know you're a lover, definitely. Yes, you're very loving and very empathetic, and that's one of the reasons I love you.
aw,
Yeah, you're amazing. So I can't even imagine like what you had to go through, the hardships, and but you're now a thriver. So how did you go from like having $100 in your account to thriving today?
well, that was $100 credit. My bank account was when
Wow.
let me just drive that point a little further. Um, is that I had 300,000 in debt, bad debt, not including the mortgage and stuff like that, and an $80,000 probate to get through. So,
Wow.
yeah. So that was hard. But now where I was lucky is that we had some assets that fell outside of probate. We had purchased a second home in Nashville, and that was really what saved me when it took me months to sell it. But that and um and I had to learn about, like, I qualified for Social Security, so that was keeping us afloat for a little while and things like that, until I figured out how to actually, like, get myself on my feet. And I'm very, very proud of that, but it took a while, and it was really scary, and
Mhm.
having 2 young kids that depended on me for everything that was the most terrifying part. I mean, I always, in the back of my mind, I was like, "Look, if things get bad enough, we'll move." I was pretty positive I was gonna have to move to Florida to be closer to my parents, and of all the options in the world, that's not the worst one, right? Like, oh,
Not at all. Yeah.
I didn't want to.
Yeah,
Like,
I know the feeling.
like, after, being a mother and having businesses and all sorts of things, you wanna stand on your own 2 feet, and I was faced
Yes.
on having to move back, not in with my parents, but, like, live down the road from them, and I didn't wanna. I like Sarasota, but I don't wanna live there full time.
No,
But
totally.
fortunately, that didn't end up happening, so
Thank God. I remember my mom, whenever I was going through hard times, she would be like, Graciela, you can move here to Buenos Aires with me. You can live in the house. I have a big house. We have the pool. I was like, girl, no. And I was like walking dogs, doing whatever, so I didn't have to go back. No,
yeah.
no, it's like it's not because of the parent, but it's because of the independence thing, where you don't want to go back to mom and dad.
Yeah,
It's
and I just knew if I left, I wouldn't get back. Like, and I love where I live. I love my friend group.
yes.
And I didn't want to remove the kids from their school. Like,
Mhm.
that was the one thing at the time. My my self prayer, or whatever, however you want to put it, was like, if I can just get my kids, particularly my son,
Yeah.
through elementary school, so I don't uproot him before he has to. They'd been through so much, like,
Yeah.
they'd gone. The divorce is hard on kids, really hard on kids. But then a death of a parent, I still, thank God, I have both my parents, so I can't relate to losing a parent even yet. And my dad just recently had triple bypass surgery. I thought we were
Mm.
going to lose him, and, like, I'm an adult, and, like, I can't. I really feel for them losing their dad at such an early age. It sucks. So I just wanted to keep them as stable as possible and in their lives, until I figure at some point I'll reach the end of my ability to support us here in this expensive town, and I will uproot us. But I refinanced.
Yeah.
I I got back content that Ralphie didn't own any of his content. I didn't
Mhm.
own any of mine. So I started, like, figuring out how to get that source of revenue back to my ownership, and then how do you create revenue from it. And I started a small distribution company, and I have a business partner, and he's amazing at distributing content, and so that really helped. And so, just, yeah, I'm very, very, very lucky.
Very and very resilient for sure. The grief journey is not like linear, right? So were there any moments like where you had like surprising moments of like joy or lightness that help you through some of these darkest times?
Yeah, joy or darkness. um,
Right.
I'll tell you this.
Oh, lightness. No, joy or lightness, not
Oh,
darkness.
joy and lightness.
Did I say darkness?
I might have misheard you.
I don't know. I could have, my brain is mush. So
I
after
think
being through chemo, and the chemo brain lasts, I think, your whole life. So I could have said darkness. We'll
I
replay it and figure it out.
I don't have an excuse, and my brain is mush. I think that I'd say I call them angels, and they're the people who have come into my life and absolutely, like, I'd say, lifted me up and saved me when I needed them. It was like, if I thought I was hitting bottom, something would happen, and I'd be like, "Oh, there's the person at that." I mean, I had a guy, well, a friend of mine, meet me in Tennessee to help me unload the house
Yeah.
there and move out of there. And he was one of my angels. He, like, picked me up at the airport, made sure everything got done. And then
Oh,
he knew a person, this guy Teddy, who I'd never met before, who flew to Tennessee and drove a truck, a small moving van of the few things I was able to pull from my house there out back to Los Angeles. He helped me pack it, unpack it. I had never met Teddy before.
Wow.
He was like such a light. He's a police officer now, and such a like beautiful human being that just wants to make the world better. Like, he didn't owe me anything. He didn't want anything from me. He was
Yeah.
just a friend of a friend
Yeah.
who just stepped up. And the same thing happened, there's organizations out there that were really
Mhm.
instrumental for my kids. My daughter joined something called Our House Grief Support. My son didn't get to do it because sadly he didn't have enough positive memories of his father.
Ay.
Yeah. But she got to go to our house and it really helped her. And now she's 17 and she's a volunteer at our house. And every other week I take her and she comes to the car afterwards in tears because she's sitting with children and she's helping them through their grief. And I could cry just saying that because
Wow.
she's such an amazing person. But both kids got to go to something called Camp Aaron, which
Yeah.
children that are going through grief, if anybody out there knows somebody who has a child that's dealing with the loss of a parent, they can go to this camp. It's 2 years in a row. It's a 2-night overstay. And they smash plates and they hang out with
Mm.
other children who are also going through it. And those are the types of things that just make you go, wow, there's so many good people in this world. It makes up for
Absolutely.
all the bullshit. Like
Yes.
there was a lot of really dark, when you said the dark, when I thought you heard said darkness, there was a lot of addiction is a portal to darkness. And
Yes.
Ralphie was surrounded by I would describe it as just a dark black energy, the people that he had in his life at that time. And the the good massively outweighs that. Like, those people, they were dark, but
Yeah.
like, wow, did I have a lot of wonderful blessings to make up for that.
Absolutely, because you are light. And yeah, you're light completely, 100% light. There's no darkness. If there is, we'll have a little bit of darkness, but like you're 99.9% light, and you attract that. What you are, you attract that. I always say that. And it's funny how we find these people that you don't expect are going to help us through our like toughest journeys, and the people that you thought were going to help you, they're not there for you. So, and sometimes it's strangers, like that guy that helped you for absolutely no reason, no ulterior motive other than he's just an earth angel, period.
Yeah, no, I wish I was as good of a human. Like, when you say light, I mean, I try to pay it forward to other people now because I know what it's like to be in
Like,
that spot.
yeah.
But man, I mean, that it just gave me like tingles to think about how, I mean, he was just he wasn't the only one. In fact, when I'm talking about the cremation, even the guy, I kind of wrote a joke about this one, but like, because of Ralphie's size, he couldn't fit into a normal crematorium. So I had to have him taken to a special place where they could accommodate him, which,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, who knew that one, right?
I know, that's crazy. Never even thought about it.
Yeah, they couldn't fit him through the door. So,
Mm-mm.
so even when the guy on the other end of the phone, I think he could hear like, oh no, I couldn't afford to cremate him. Like, I didn't have enough money left on my card and he reduced it. Like, just all
Oh,
these things. And who would have thought that I would be in that position? I mean,
right.
we I say we because we worked together for years and I helped him build that business. Like, made a lot of finance, but that's addiction. They ran through everything. I mean, he had his business managers pulling money out of his account after he died. And like, yeah, it was wild, like, to see how they're just after the quickest grab they could get, all these people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know how these type of journeys make you grow, or they don't make you grow, they make you better, right? So in what ways has this journey affected your understanding of yourself, not just as a mother and comedian, but as a person?
Um, it's really made me contemplate like what I want out of my life.
Mhm.
I met somebody who I love very much. I have a new, when we talk about love and relationships, I did find somebody, and I had some pretty, honesty was number one.
Yeah.
Just finding somebody who, no matter what, they were going to be honest with me. And I think I found that. So, I mean, it changed my perspective on who I want in my life and who I'm going to have in my close circle,
Yes.
and be a little more guarded. And I hate that because
Yeah.
I'm guarded. Like, I want to trust everyone and love everyone, but I am more guarded now.
It's okay to be guarded. There's, you can, I always say you can put your energy out, but you got to be careful who energy you allow into your space. So you can be loving and caring and put it out, but then have like a little net, like a filter when the other people's energies get to you. And that is an important thing in life, I think. And it doesn't make you selfish or less loving. It makes you smart and cautious, which we should be, because there's a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing. So
Huh.
yeah,
But
yeah. Yeah, but as long as you keep your energy open to others, I think that's all that we need to do.
yeah, no, I mean, but I mean, everything we do like changes us fundamentally. So
Yeah,
I'm definitely, I'm, it created a whole lot of different projects and different things that I've had to work on the last few years. Just
yeah,
like when Ralphie and I were together the last year, we started a documentary project,
yes,
um, and which we filmed him for 9 months, and then it ended when we split up. But I had all this footage and a responsibility to him. He says in the footage, in the film, when you tell my story, be honest, good or bad. And so he left me with a huge responsibility to tell his story. And I believe his story will help other people. And
yeah,
so I'm going tomorrow to color. If you do a film, the last finishing stages is color, sound, titles, these things.
yeah.
And I'm doing color tomorrow. It's been years in the making to get to this point, but I have an amazing colorist, and um, I'm really excited to get through it. And so that's been a side journey, a responsibility that was left for me to see through. And I'm almost to the end of that.
Yes. And see, you're using your pain to help others, which is, I think, a very healing thing to do. What do you think? How do you feel about that?
I hope it's healing. I mean, oh, well, definitely helping others. When you,
Yeah,
yeah, oh my God, yeah. I mean, if other people can watch this and gain some knowledge that I didn't have, because trust me, there was a lot I didn't know going in, then oh my gosh, that's a blessing. And that I believe that Ralphie would be very happy to know that anything that we're doing for him postmortem will create a ripple of a positive effect for others. Um, I do believe that. So
that's his legacy.
it is, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And but for me personally, uh, I I think I would have been happier the last 7 years not going through thousands of hours of footage of him and I together.
Right.
It's just every time I have to watch it, it makes me cry.
Yes. Oh, it has to be very painful to have to go through that.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I always want to spin things in a good way. There are aspects of it that also give me tremendous joy because I
Yeah.
get to see our kids when, I mean, there's footage of my kids being
Oh,
born, and like, I mean, our wedding, and like the really cool stuff too. And so, but I wouldn't have wanted like one of the worst years of my life to become public fodder, but it's my responsibility to see it through. And there you are. So hopefully, knock on would, I'll be done with it soon, and I don't know where it's gonna end up as far as distribution, but it'll be somewhere, and I
oh, you're gonna find it. It's all gonna work out. Everything always falls into place when you have the right intention and purpose, I think. That's that's my experience. That's been my experience. And you know how when you go through these experiences, like your priorities just completely change. So how have your priorities changed? What's important to you now versus before?
Um, I mean, I hate this, to be honest with you, Chris. I hate this so much. I don't get up on stage nearly as much as I want to right now.
Yeah.
Stand up, I love stand. I have a couple of shows coming up, but not like I used to, where I'm like hitting shows every single night.
Right.
I can't do it and be there for my kids. When my kids were little, people would say, "Oh, just wait till they're teenagers," and I'd be like, "Are you kidding? This is so much work." They're so like they literally bump into stuff and fall down and scratch a knee. How can it be harder when they're teenagers? But it is. It's a lot more cerebral, and and also I'm getting closer to my daughter leaving for college,
Oh
and it's just
no.
these last little bits of time that we have. So I haven't I haven't been able to do as much stand up as I want to. That's
Yeah.
hard because selfishly, I love, I mean, it's like, I'm
It's
like,
addictive.
ugh. So it's frustrating when you don't get up on stage because like I have bits and things, but I still get up, just not like every single night or
Like
multiple
before.
times.
And also like traveling so much. Sorry, I have like so many like marketing calls, like spam calls. So that was
Oh, I know.
yeah.
Let's grieve those for a while. Like
Uh,
that's
they're so annoying, but yeah, it's okay though. It's okay. So okay, and like you're naturally funny, right? And so what like did people expect you to have like a brave face, and like joke around, or were they surprised to see,
it's such
the grief side of Lana?
well, that's like the most unexpected thing that as messed up as this might seem, I got funnier after going through the trauma of loss. Like
Yeah,
I wrote so much material and much darker material than I'd ever
right.
and my ability to just not care and push it through
Yeah.
came to life from so when they say comedy or what is it comedy or tragedy plus time equals comedy, it really is.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
can find through that sadness, you're able to maneuver it, you'll find
Mhm.
jokes. And so yeah, I definitely I wrote like a whole well, when I went through the divorce, I wrote a whole breakup album called Limeade because it was at the time when Beyonce did Lemonade and
Oh
she
yeah, that's right. That's where it comes from.
yeah, yeah.
That's genius. I love that.
Yeah, it was a lot of I mean, it was a lot of fun to be able to figure out ways to, like, vent that hurt into, like, comedy songs. So, like, I don't I mean, some of those, "F you and all your 9 holes," or "Hate it, the C word," or all these songs that were just like, "Cool, that's where it goes." So, yeah, even when he passed away, like, it brought up all this other ways of dealing with it. It's powerful.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Experiences like that are very powerful, and they make you a better artist, unfortunately and fortunately, it's yeah. And a
well,
better person, I think. I don't know about you, but like my cancer experience made me a better person, like a whole different type of person.
dude, I can't. My one somebody I'm very close to just got a diagnosis for breast cancer, and I'm
Oh,
just beside myself. It's so prevalent. Like,
it is insane. 1 in 8 women are diagnosed with breast cancer. And that's the people that have stage 1 on. The stage 0, where it is still cancer, they're not included in that number.
they
So it's probably
damage
more like,
it and remove it before it becomes cancer. Is that what that is, or is it?
yeah, when it's like little balls. I had those besides the one that spread. I had little balls, and it's called DCIS, and it's stage 0 because they're contained. And they're little balls. I call them balls, but they're not balls. But they're like contained in there. They haven't spread anywhere else in the tissue of the breast or anything else. But yeah, that's not. They don't count on that either. Like it's just probably 1 every 5. I think more than 1 every 8 if you count stage 0. That's what I think. And 1 every 2 people in the United States are going to have a bout with cancer in their lifetime. That's high.
That's insane. 1 in 2.
1 in 2.
That's wild. Yeah, I mean, I made my annual appointment already because
Oh, absolutely. Never miss it. I missed mine in 2020 for obvious reasons. And 2021, I was stage 3 already.
wow.
It grows really fast. Like it's crazy. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, it was shocking because I always did my mammograms, and ultrasounds if they saw any cyst or whatever, things that were suspicious. But yeah, get it every year, like religiously. Do not miss one mammogram or do it a year and a half later. Just do it every year religiously.
Yep. No, I
Yeah.
know. It's wild. So yeah, when I heard about this one, I was just
I'm
like, oh,
sorry. Ugh.
no, it's crazy.
Well, if she needs any help or any like guidance on what's coming next, I'm happy to talk to her if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I will. I'll let her know. I'll see her in a couple weeks. So
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
sorry. That sucks big time.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got a positive attitude. But yeah, like what you're saying. I mean, it changes everything.
It changes everything. You can have a positive attitude through it, but who you were before is not the person you're after this experience, whether it's, a loved one passing away or cancer. And I think with cancer, it's like your own mortality. When somebody else dies, it's like when my parents passed away, it was somebody else's mortality. It made me face my mortality. But when you have like cancer growing in your body that can unalive you, that's when you truly face your own mortality. Like, it's wow. It's like live every moment like it's your last one. And that's how I live my life.
Well,
You know,
that's really cool.
you
We just
have
had
to.
an incident a a week ago Friday, as Sean's half of his face went numb, and I took him to the hospital in pre-cardiac state.
What?
Yeah, I was just like, so I mean, talk about. I was like, not again. We going to do this again?
No. Oh
He
my God.
he had no idea. He's not that old of a guy. He got on blood pressure medication and now he's completely changed his diet. And the doctor said
100%.
he'll be able to get off if he can correct his diet, he'll be okay, get off the pills. But yeah, like
Correcting your diet can actually either delay, the sickness or completely delete it. Like, I was hypoglycemic and I didn't know that until later in my life. And once I was diagnosed, like it was low, like 50 something in the morning. Like, that's very low. And so once I was diagnosed, I went to the doctor's office fasting rather than like eating something, and they had a true reading. I changed it with diet. I went to a nutritionist and they told me how to eat, and I am not hypoglycemic anymore at all. Zero. I haven't been hypoglycemic in years now. So you can actually reverse the disease.
yeah, that's what the doctor was saying. I mean, I
Mhm.
went to my middle finger because I've been cutting so many veggies.
Oh no, that's so funny.
Sliced my finger last night, but I am a veggie cutting fool. The funny thing is that I've always been a veggie cutting fool, but now I'm cutting a lot more because he's eating nothing but veggies. So I'm like, all
Oh,
right, bring it on.
definitely whole foods, plant-based, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, his doctor doesn't even want him eating like vegan. I mean, he's vegan, but like not even like only veggies, like things that have dirt on them.
Wow.
Just
Like
to
legumes. Yeah. That's what I eat. I eat like just plants. Sometimes I go vegetarian if I'm out there and I need to eat something. I choose vegetarian because it's hard to get vegan on the go, So, but other than that, it's all vegan because also it's as a chemo person who went through chemo and radiation on the chest, you have to watch your heart also. Even though my heart is fine, I also have to make sure I eat for my heart.
so your heart is running like 60,000 miles a day or something like that.
That's
Like that's
crazy.
how much
That's
our
insane.
our blood circles the planet like I think it's twice per day. I mean, it's
That's
like when you
insane.
realize I was just starting to research it because I was like, wow, it's a lot. But the funny thing is he's always been a meat eater and and I've been mostly vegetables. But
Yes, you are.
a couple months ago, I said to myself, you know what? I feel like I'm at a place in my life where I'm not supporting my muscle as much. And I started eating meat again, and now he's off meat. And I'm like, oh, isn't that timing? But I've not been eating meat for years. Like not a lot of it anyways. I just tried to
Yeah.
avoid it. But now I was like, I thought you're gonna be so happy. I'm gonna eat some meat with you now. Like let me get let me do that. And now I'm just like, no more.
Definitely. And it's not for everyone. Some people eat meat and they never have anything. Some people smoke, they never have cancer.
Isn't that wild?
It's crazy. I know. It's all about what works for you. Like if you have a tendency to have heart issues, definitely do a heart healthy diet. If you have a tendency to have cancer, you had cancer, you have cancer in the family, definitely do a cancer friend, anti-cancer diet. Like, yeah, with spices, research, there's certain spices that are cancer fighting. Eat cruciferous vegetables. There's a lot of vegetables that are cancer fighting, not meat. Meat doesn't fight cancer. Actually, red meat,
Like,
yeah, it's bad for colon cancer and a lot of other cancers. So, like, my oncologist was like, "Do not eat red meat," because I was like, maybe I can eat some. No, she was like, "No meat, no meat." So it depends on, like, on your health and your genes. And Betty White lived to 100 and she ate hot dogs and drank vodka. And I don't know if she smoked, but it's like, what the hell,
yeah, I don't know. It's
You
wild.
never, yeah, you never know. Did he smoke? Does he smoke?
Well, I mean, like as a teenager or whatever, he'd smoked some like
Yeah,
packs of cigarettes, like here and there with friends. But no, I mean, occasionally smoke like a little weed or something, but like nothing.
yeah.
No,
Nothing major, like not a pack a
no.
day
In
or something. Yeah.
fact, about 3.5, 4 weeks ago, I took him up to Mount Whitney, and he didn't make it all the way up, but he did about 14 miles. But he was having a hard time, and now I look back and I was
Mm,
like, oh, thank God I didn't have a heart attack because he was like about to.
about to, yeah, yeah.
Yes, I didn't want to grieve again.
No, no, he's lucky to have you because you're already a healthy eater and now you're a caregiver. You really are. You're like take care of people naturally. So he's very lucky.
Yeah, I didn't set like with Rafi, I was like a nurse a lot. Like I was a,
Right.
yeah, that was, I wrote a book to complement the movie, like an autobiographical book, which gave me a
Yeah.
lot of time to also reflect on my responsibilities and like how I acted as an enabler. I mostly describe myself as a codependent, but there were times that I enabled too. And I look back on all that and I see that, like being a caregiver for somebody who is not taking care of themselves
Yeah.
is a different story. Like in this situation, I can see him already, like he's already dropped quite a few pounds in just a week, just trying like,
Yeah.
but if it'd be a completely different situation and I'd be back in my previous relationship, if I was like desperately chopping up vegetables and like bringing it
No.
to him and then having him go out and eat a cheeseburger when I'm not around,
No.
we're in a different situation.
Absolutely. No, this is a way better situation. And I'm glad that he's taking care of himself.
Yeah,
Good.
I don't know what I would do if he wasn't. I don't know. I don't think I could sit idle and watch that happen
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. No, it's too painful.
Yeah. It's tough to watch somebody else deteriorate.
I understand. Yeah. And when there's nothing you can do because it's their choice, it's not your choice. You can be a good influence or a neighbor or both at the same time, but the person has to make the decision. And if they're not ready to make the decision, it's not
Well,
going to happen.
well, and to your credit, like you didn't make choices that landed you in health crisis, but you've done everything in your power to try and overcome it. And that's courageous.
Thank you.
Whereas a lot of people don't. So,
I
yeah.
know. Yeah. No, a lot of people still smoke and stuff. Like I was healthy. Actually, and I think that's why I was able to get through the treatment unscathed because I I was very, very healthy. I, teach swimming, I worked out, I ate healthy. I, took care of myself in general. But now it's like, oh no, I take care of myself even more, no toxic friendships or relationships at all. Someone is toxic, I release them with love. Um,
You don't just drop kick them.
yeah, and then put them on my shit list. But no, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Bugs Bunny with Elmer Fudd.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like now that I know the things that I have to do to avoid recurrence or a new cancer or whatever. And that doesn't mean like, in spite of everything I do, that I'm not going to get it because who knows? It's a mystery. Why do people get cancer? We don't know. It's not just genetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mystery. Doctors still don't know. You ask a doctor, and it's like there's so many factors. That's why it cracks me up when I had a friend say, "Don't get the booster vaccine because you get cancer again." Like, what? Do you understand how cancer works? My cancer fed off my estrogen, progesterone, and the proteins in my cells. Now, you tell me, how important is that little drop of COVID vaccine? you know?
Well, so it was it's hormonal related
Yeah.
with breast
Oh,
cancer.
well, if you have breast, but sometimes it's like triple negative. Some people don't have the hormone, but it's very common to have hormone positive cancer as a woman. Yes.
Wow. So when you're going through your changes of life is probably when the hormones start to spike and it increases your chances.
Yeah. Well, now girls in their 20s and 30s are getting it. So who knows?
Yeah.
It's if you have estrogen, period, and progesterone, period, because it's actually they're feeding off your hormones. So it's not like your hormones, whether they're changing or not, it doesn't matter. The cancer is a scavenger. I have a whole bit that I just made about how cancer, is a fast growing cell and a scavenger, and how dumb they are. I can't wait to do it like on a show because they're just relentless. They will survive no matter what. And they create little bridges of like veins that connect to your circulatory system so they can feed off of your nutrients also. They feed off of anything. They do. It's called, I can't remember how it's called, but something Genesis. And they literally grow little veins, little bridges to feed off of your bloodstream.
It's like having a child.
No, but an ugly one.
It's like, oh, that's crazy. It's like Parasite. Oh, it is a Parasite.
Yes, and it's your own body glitching. It's not even an outside force or anything like a virus, it's your own body glitching, not just getting out of control, like going wacko. It's
Wow.
crazy. I know, but the point is, you can avoid reoccurrence or delay or avoid a heart attack by taking care of yourself. That is so important. I'm a big proponent of that. Like, take care of yourself. And people are like, well, I took care of myself, I still got cancer. Well, maybe you would have gotten cancer like 20 years before. Maybe if I didn't take care of myself, I would have gotten cancer like 20 years before. I don't know.
Yeah. That's wild. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, I have nothing to say.
I know. Cancer. It's so fun.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Grieving. Speaking of grief, I had to grieve the loss of my boob.
Yeah. That's wild.
It is wild. But when your life is on the line, it's like, go ahead and chop that shit off. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, chop it off.
Yeah.
Not important, really. I don't need my boob to walk or to do dishes, so I'm
I
good.
just like that you have you have two, like you're very happy with the one. Even you showed me, you have like this one, she's this way, and this one, she's that way. And
Yeah. Not a problem. I'm also a big proponent of body positivity. Love your body, whatever it looks like, whatever you are, whatever weight you are. So I practice what I preach.
I have a friend who says that you'll never look better than you do now. So just enjoy it while you got it.
Exactly. I know. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I looked worse than today, believe me, in the past. So I don't know. I'm not sure about that one, but I know what she means. So in a closing argument here. Okay. So what advice would you give to others who are grieving, but also need to keep going for their families, their careers, or other responsibilities?
Ah, I mean, for everyone, it's so personal, right?
Yeah.
I think you just have to give everything time
Yeah.
and grace.
Yeah.
You got to give
Yeah.
yourself some grace. You got to give yourself some time, and you know, things have a way of working their way out. At some,
Yeah.
as long as you know, just keep going. Um, I mean, you don't really have a choice but to keep going. I
Yeah.
mean, the alternatives aren't going to be any better. So,
Yeah.
and I think at the end of the road, there's it might the view might not be better, but it's going to be different, and you'll be better for it perhaps in certain
Mhm.
ways. I mean, I think there's some things that, I mean, you can't change things when
Right.
you can only work with them.
Yeah.
And that there's a lot of people out there, myself included, like I get all kinds of messages from people and I'm always talking to people, and I think it's a there's a world out there. When I say I'm always talking to people, I mean, I'll have somebody write me and they're in trauma, like somebody I've never met. And of course
Wow.
I want to help them. So
Yeah.
I'll communicate with them and go back and forth and hear their story. And I mean, there's a lot of people who think they're going through something alone, but you're not alone. There's
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I had the same thing like after I came out. Sorry, I'm fixing my little ponytail, my fake hair. Um, After, I came out on social media that I had breast cancer, and I came out after I was done with the treatment when I was feeling better and my hair was this big, but it was still, I wasn't bald. And I had lots of women contact me and like, I'm going through that. Was just diagnosed with ovarian cancer. I was just diagnosed with breast cancer. And so, same with you. It's like, if people know that you've been through that experience, then you have an opportunity to help other people, which is another way that you're helping people besides the documentary.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I answer that question, but yeah, I mean, look,
Yes.
nobody's really, you can't get through this life without going through grief. I think it's just part of our existence. And um, I don't know. I also, I realize how blessed I am. Like, I think
Yeah.
always like trying to find the things in your life that, we, there's something that you have that you're like, I mean, I've got healthy kids that are doing great. Like,
Yes.
I'm so lucky. We've got a roof over our head and we've got food. And there's like
Yes.
so many things that we've got that, even though we've got this tremendous loss in our lives and it's
Mhm.
always going to be there, um, there's a lot of wonderful things to be happy with and proud of. And we are all at some point going to be at the end. And I don't want people to be sad at my ending. I don't even think Ralphie would want us to be sad.
I
I think he
know.
would want us to rejoice in his life. And so I try to focus on those things more than anything else.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we're all gonna exit this reality.
Quickly, it's not long enough. That's the
I
yeah.
don't know. I feel like it's okay. It's a decent amount of time,
So you're okay with the time? I don't. There's too many
I'm
things
okay.
to do.
I'm okay. Actually, when I face like, okay, maybe, I won't make it because I was stage 3. Most people make it, but some people I read all the time, like they were stage 3 and they pass away for whatever reason, whether it's the treatment or the cancer. And I was like, if I pass away, I think that I had a really great life. I've always done everything I wanted to do. I always followed my heart and I had fun along the way. So if I'm not on this planet anymore, I'm okay with it. That's how I came to terms with, if I pass away, I'm going to be okay, because I think it's important to follow your heart in your life. After facing that um, mortality of mine, well, mortality we all have, um, it's important to follow your heart and do what you're called to do, what your purpose is on this planet. And I think if you do that and if you have fun, you're going to be more at peace about your own mortality. That's my experience.
Yeah, it's funny. We had this conversation too when Sean got out of the hospital. He said the same thing. He said, I feel like I've lived a really good life
Really?
and I wouldn't leave kicking and screaming. And I was like, I would be kicking and screaming. I'd be like, I haven't done this and I haven't done that. I haven't jumped out of an airplane. Like there's a lot of things,
That's so
but
funny.
all those things are small in comparison to I want to see the first person walk on Mars, and I want to, like there's like a lot of things that I don't know that I would want to go up to Mars, but I would. I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot of things that I know I'm not going to get to experience that maybe we'll experience it in the next life. Who knows? But
Who knows? Who knows where we go,
I'm not there yet. I'm not like in a place where I'm like, I'm not done with this life. But if it
I
got taken
hear
from
you.
me, I think I'd come back and haunt. I'd be like, "Ooh." I want to still do things.
Can I play with you? Can I jump on this airplane with you? Yeah, no, I hear you.
It's lost right now. Hello, can anyone hear me? Hear me?
Can you imagine how frustrating it must be if that's the case, that you come to this dimension and people can't see or hear you and
Oh,
you're trying to communicate? That would drive me nuts.
yeah. I'd be like, I'm not done. Hello, this thing on. I still.
That's so funny. I'm actually not attached to this life at all. I'm not attached to it. And if I start getting attached, I'm like, I could be done tomorrow, hit by a bus or whatever. Nah, I'm not going to get too attached or worried about things. Like when I
Right.
start worrying about my finances or whatever, anything.
That's good. That's good because that stuff doesn't matter. I get
Yeah,
it.
it doesn't. In the long run, it's like you could be gone tomorrow. Like cancer could have taken me. And all the times I worried before then were a waste of time.
That's
So,
a great thing to say. Yeah, like the worrying and not enjoying it. Yeah. Yeah, I need to enjoy life a lot more. I need to really
yeah.
have more fun for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Enjoy. And I think also, I don't know if this happened to you, but like after my cancer journey, like everything tastes better, everything looks better. Like I'm more, I I don't mind leaving this reality, but at the same time, I'm more connected with everything, which is so crazy. But I enjoy everything more than I used to. And I take time to just breathe and smell the roses, which before I didn't do that. I was on the go all the time and I had goals and I have shit to do. And now it's like the shit I have to do can wait. I'm not in a rush to achieve anything. What will be, will be. So I have a more relaxed attitude, I think. And that helps me a lot because I don't stress that much. I don't almost don't stress. Like 99% of the time, I'm not stressed out.
You know what? I need to take some of your advice because that's great. And I think that like the stress causes a lot of the dis-ease.
Yes. And the
Yeah.
grief.
Yeah.
Mine was grief from losing my mom and losing somebody else. So yeah, it's we have to take care of ourselves, and sometimes it's unprocessed grief or unprocessed issues that we have that can help. They don't create the cancer or the disease, but we're not at ease.
Yeah.
So disease, there's a frequency for disease. There's a lot, as a whole. I'm a quantum physics nerd, but anyway, there's, if you kind of, it kind of makes sense. If you're not at ease, you're in a different vibrational field than if you are at ease. And so when you're at ease, disease cannot get you. It's like you're here at ease, disease is right here, and you're like in the clouds and disease is on the planet, and it can't get you. It can't grab you, because you're like at ease. But as soon as you become not at ease, then that's when the door opens.
Sounds like you and I need to go get a massage.
Girl, yeah. You know what? Yes.
Yeah, you're just like not too far. Let's like figure out a day and go there.
Oh, let's do it. No, I have actually, I'll tell you, I have my favorite therapist. There's two of them. They're so good. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And we need to go have coffee again.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
down.
we
Yeah.
definitely need to. Absolutely. Now that I'm not teaching swimming, I'm not as crazy. We're making plans, you guys, while we're alive.
Yeah, because while we're talking to each other on a screen, we really don't live that far from each other. So it's sort of
I know. Definitely. I'll text you after the live. But
wonderful.
yeah, but it's been almost an hour. I appreciate your time and your insight and your wisdom and you being vulnerable and open to share your experience so others can benefit from it and can learn from it and can grow from your experience. So thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. I always love hanging out with you.
I
You've
know. Me
given
too.
me something to work on for today and forever, really. But like enjoying right now, like I'm like, what am I going to do right now? I'm going to enjoy.
At ease. I was like really nervous about the elections, and I'm like, you know what?
No,
It's out of my control.
yep.
So I'll do what I have to do, what I think is the
Valid in,
right thing.
done. That's what I did. I don't want to go stand in the line. I don't want to worry about it. We'll find out when we find out.
But and you know, It is what it is. We'll see what happens. Nothing we can do. So yeah, see, you're doing it already. It's just catching ourselves when we're like, oh, I have to pay these bills. Where's the money? It's like, shut up, Grace. Like I talk to myself, like, oh, it's a thought. Like it's an intrusive thought.
Yeah.
So I talk to them like, shut up, leave me alone. You have no room in my life. I don't want to hear what you have to say. So go away. And it goes away. If you don't entertain the thought, if you shoo it away, they'll go away. They'll try to come back, but you're like, no, I know who you are. You're not getting in here. Not anymore.
I like that. And talk to your own thoughts. I've heard that works.
Yeah. Intrusive thoughts, because we think that they're ours. It's a whole quantum physics thing too. But I think my personal opinion is they're out in the ether. There's like ideas and everything is out in the ether, and we connect with them depending on how our soul feels. So if we're depressed or sad, if we're sad, we're going to connect with sad thoughts in the ether. If we're happy, we're going to connect with happy thoughts. If we have an open heart, we're going to connect with open heart thoughts, you know. So I think that emotions are the way our soul speaks to us. So we have to listen and see how it feels. If it feels something negative, like anger, that can lead to not very good things, then your soul is angry. Why are you angry? Okay, I hear you. I feel you. Let's let it flow, but I'm not going to entertain the anger. It's not shutting it down, but you don't want to entertain it, because then you open yourself up to those intrusive thoughts of anger, and God knows where it leads, because I know I've had them many times.
Well, I'll tell you what, I just got earbuds, so now I can walk around and talk to myself, but people won't know I'm talking to myself. I can just
right. Yeah, keep it like in the DL.
talking to myself, but everyone's like, "Oh, she's got earbuds on. She's talking to somebody else." But no, I am just talking to myself.
Absolutely.
Crazy. Hey, inner voice. Stop.
I know it is. It's real. It's real.
Yeah, no, I believe it. It is true.
Yeah.
The messages we send out or give to ourselves. Yeah, it's all.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not crazy. I heard some people cannot hear their thoughts. I'm like, how can you not hear your thoughts? What? I don't get it. Yeah, that was so weird. I
have like too many thoughts coming at me at once that I can't like decipher which one I want to deal with. I've had that. Like,
yeah, it's like, shut up. Listen, take turns.
Oh, that's funny. I don't even know how. I'll just be like, but
yeah, they overwhelm you, but don't let them. You need to take charge and just be like, listen, I don't have time for you right now. That's sometimes when stress wants to, an intrusive thought wants to just bug me and I'm busy. I'm like, I don't have time for you. So get the hell out of my life. And it goes away because you're not entertaining it. You're not giving it energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And here we are. So maybe we go meditate.
Yeah. Oh, I would love that. I need to go meditate. Maybe a sound bath or something.
I need to learn that. I've done that once and it was really cool.
I know. We should do that for real. I would love to do that. I've never done it.
I did it once and it was nice. It was just really, it was kind of like a public nap, which I'm into. Like I like to just take a nap out in like public where.
Yeah, I would be a little concerned. Like if I had my credit cards and stuff and my keys, I would not be able to take a nap in public. It would have to be
falling asleep on the beach or you fall asleep in a park. It's a public nap, but sound bath is kind of like that. Like you've gone into a room and they like play all this like interesting sounds and to walk you through it. It was nice. It was like, it was just, like I said, I just fell asleep, but it was necessary. It felt good.
Yeah, no, I love it. I do it here at home where I just listen to the sound and it's so relaxing. And there's a whole thing, you're really not solid. You look solid because we're vibrating at a certain speed.
We're made up of molecular stuff that spaces between. Yes.
Yeah. I'm a quantum physics nerd, but yeah, that's what it is. So I do believe that vibration does affect our cells, our souls, everything, because we are vibrating right now. Like that's why we're solid.
Well, let me know. I'm not sure where to go. I didn't do it here in town, but I know that there are places that do it. So if there's a spot that you want to hit, I'm down.
Okay, I'm going to do my research and I'm willing to go somewhere else. Like if we have to go to Ohio or whatever.
I did it in like in the Palm Desert area. Yeah, out that way.
Ooh,
So,
okay.
yeah. It was like
I'm
a overnight. Like I went with a girlfriend. We went and stayed someplace, which would be awesome to do again. So
yeah, okay. I'm game for that for sure.
we need it. Definitely need it.
Yes, we do.
I'm sure everyone listening right now needs it too. So everyone
Yeah,
else, be good to yourself today. Do something nice.
always be good to
Your
yourself.
billions of vibrating cells to something good.
Yes, I love that. That's a great way to end this live. Thank you so much, Lana. And thank
Thank
you, everybody that tuned in today. We had a bunch of people just stay tuned in, and a lot on X, Facebook, and YouTube, and on Twitch also. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you next week. We're going to talk about neurodiversity and art. So it's going to be really interesting. All right, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Dating is like trying to find a needle in a haystack, except the haystack is full of frogs and weird DMs. But who says you can't have fun while you're searching for that needle or prince? Say goodbye to dating disasters and hello to love that lights up your world. In Love, Laughter, and Lessons, a fun guide to dating, I spill all the secrets to navigating the dating scene with grace, humor, and just the right amount of sass. Whether you're swiping left or making eye contact across the room, I'll show you how to attract love like a magnet. It's time to stop waiting for love and start living it. Get your copy of Love, Laughter, and Lessons, a fun guide to dating today, and let the magic begin.